Alright guys, welcome back to the Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. So today we're gonna do the tier list. I guess a pre-Golden Week? Yeah, pre-Golden Week TUR tier list. They just go ahead and kind of get a placement for everybody, at least for the top 10. TUR is currently in the game. So yeah. I mean it's not super hard pickings, I'm not gonna lie. After like the top 5, it gets kinda shaky. Simply because they're old. You know, we don't get that many TURs. We haven't got a chance to get many after the anniversary. So it's not a very common thing. Anyways, let's just go ahead and jump on in here. So who I've got at slot 10 is this guy. So my reasoning for that is, let me pull him up while I'm doing this. There it is. So my thought process with it is, yes, I don't put as much value into the long events as everyone else does or a lot of other people do, but I still have to take into account the fact that it exists and he's really good in there, which puts him above like a good chunk of other units. Like we just go back here, like Rose, for example. You're not taking Rose into that. Rose's not stacking, and Rose's just, you know what I mean? You're not doing it. Same thing with Frieza. That's what it puts him above those units, who are just irrelevant. Like it gives him relevance. By the way, I'm not including EZAs on these. If I did EZAs, then it would be a lot. It would be a majorly different list. This guy definitely wouldn't be here. But yeah, his stacking that he gets pre-transformation, and the fact that he gets multiple supers, does make him a solid candidate to bring into the what's it called? The battle. I can't think of the event name now. Festival of Battles? Is that what it's called? It's gonna drive me insane. And now I have to pull it up, otherwise I'm gonna go absolutely insane trying to remember. Yeah, Festival of Battles. So yeah, that he's good in there, but that's really it. Granted, that's more than a lot of other units have. So I mean, we're kind of probably gonna skim over, if I had to guess, the first 5 or so, probably relatively quickly, just because it's the same stick. Like this guy, he's good in Festival of Battles. You can run him other places, but probably not very effectively, at least in my opinion. But he's simply just the Tech Vegeta, but better. This is literally what he is. Like he's getting multiple supers. He literally is just the same Vegeta, except he came out like 6 months later. March, October. It wasn't October. It was I don't know when the JP release was. The JP release might have been around October. I want to say it was. Yeah, he was the same time release. Interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, it's just a 6-month gap, and it's literally the same unit, just a little bit better. So I mean, that's as far as that goes. So my next unit, I don't have Buhan, so I don't have the most experience using him. However, with what I've seen, this is where I feel like he places. Like that's just based on what I've seen him do, as far as how I've seen him perform. Now, there's nothing against him per se. I don't think that he's in the best spot right now as far as help goes. Like, these big bad bosses as an example. Right now, the big bad bosses link has Cell and dot. Like Kid Boo's good. Jidimba's good. You know what I mean? But it's getting a little better with some EZAs, but they just need new units. EZAs, I don't think is gonna save this link. I think the link literally just needs new blood, essentially, to truly bring it to life. I think like in little stuff like that, like big bad bosses, Metamorphosis, Majin. I think the wall standing tall has the same problem. Yeah, Majin is a 15% attack and defense link. Who are you running here? You're running 1, 2, 3, and past that, nobody. You're not touching anybody else. because they suck. Metamorphosis, you're running possibly Slug. I think Slug's solid. Slug to me just barely doesn't make this list. I want to put him on here, but just I don't know. I don't feel like he's good enough for it. But Metamorphosis, you've got Slug, the two Janimbas. That's it. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of his links are just, oh well, I link with two other units. Like Fear and Faith doesn't do it. It doesn't do what I thought it did. That's just 20% attack. But yeah, that's my one of my big issues with this Boo. I don't feel that he's good enough. And not necessarily that he's not just good enough, but his team is just isn't good enough. I like his SSR art. You know what I mean? But villains just need help. Like, villains are not in a good spot right now. But speaking of Boos, above him we've got this guy. Now, everything I just said, keep that in mind. But this guy's just built different. I mean, he's got the revive, which is nice. Unfortunately, it's only when he gets killed. However, he does get his active skill, which is a Ghost Usher. So he does still have a Team Protector mechanic. Plus, he also has the revive for the heal. And he's stacking defense, and he can super multiple times in a turn. So, to me, that's all pretty up there. You know what I mean? And he doesn't, don't get me wrong, his links aren't great. We don't have a bunch of links that you're like, I have to have this link up, or he's going to get absolutely demolished. Because he just simply doesn't have links that do that. Most of his links are attack links. And so it's okay to miss out on some of those. He still holds up defensively. That's my big thing with him. And even in the longer form content, like I said, I have to acknowledge it exists. He's really good in there. So next, we've got his counterpart that came out with him, who I think is way better, at least currently. I mean, it's kind of insane considering how they did him. But anyways, once you get this guy's intro up, he essentially doesn't take damage for the first, what is it? Like 4 turns? Something like that? Like the first, essentially you get 3 to 4 appearances out of him before he starts actually taking damage. And to me, that's more valuable than the stacking and whatnot, because yes, we do have Festival of Battle that needs to be considered. However, it is not the only content, and I don't feel like it's going to be the main form of content moving forward. So I'm not as worried about Festival of Battles and units being that well in there as I would be just in general. So I do believe Goku sits comfortably at 6. You may be able to bump him up to 5, but you've really got to stretch that for me to get him to 5. Just because of the way things are shaken out. So that leads me into 5. Which is Cell. Which hurts, because I really wanted Cell to be like top 3. Like, I just, that feels more right to me, but he's not. Which is unfortunate. So, my thought process for him and my issue with him, I've got a rant up on my channel. I don't remember what video it's in because it's not titled that. It's just part of my video. But my big issue is he wants to be a leader unit. Like, he wants to be the lead. However, he doesn't. His kit's not conducive with that. Like, he gets stuff for if his revive activates. Not just if anyone's revive activates. It's specifically his, but you can only do 1 revive. So only 1 cell is going to be fully powered. It's a whole thing. And he's just not good enough. I feel like they really dropped the ball with Cell, like, super hard. Which really, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Maybe one day in the future he can be good, but it'll be close. So moving on to 4, so we're just kind of flying through these a little bit, because a lot of these I feel like are self-explanatory. Here's Diamond Vegeta. He's 4 for me. Now, yes, I really like Diamond Vegeta. However, I don't know that his consistency is gonna put him over the rest of the units here. Like, he's really good, and he can really hang in there, but the more dupes you have, it makes a huge impact on it, and I just don't feel like he's the most consistent unit ever, because you are relying on RNG to get your turn buffs, or to get your extra supers to help you in the next rotation, and if you don't, then he can put you in a pretty tight spot. So that's how I look at him. I feel like if he just had guard, it would probably fix his kit and like any issue I had with it if they just gave him guard. But it is what it is. Can't exactly change it now. But anyways, moving forward, we're just like that. We're kind of just flying through here. I'm not too. I don't feel like it needs to like overly explained. Not this list, at least. The list is kind of straightforward. Next, we've got Goku, and sorry about that. As I was saying, next we have Goku. So the thing with Goku is he's just a really good unit. Like, he's a support unit. He has dodge. You don't really have to worry about him dying because of that. But the support that he's giving, no, it's not defensive support, which is tragic. However, this 41% attack is no joke. It can really start making people hit harder, especially when you're proccing that multiple times a turn, where you can proc it up to 3 times a turn, which is an insane amount of attack boosting. So that's the main reason I have him so high. Like, when I'm running him properly, the chances of this guy dying are pretty low, just because of his dodge and his defense and everything. So that's why I feel he deserves a spot. But speaking from supports, next we have this guy. And oh boy. Oh boy. I can't remember how to spell his name. Anyways, so this guy literally, he wants to be a floater. Like, he is the perfect floating unit. He gets 50% stats for 3 turns when you float him. And like, it's so good. Truthfully, it's funny to me because he also gets 50% chance to dodge, but it gets bumped up 10% with each attack for each super performed. But if you put him in slot 2 or 3, he's getting a guaranteed additional with a great chance of becoming a super. But basically, on his regular passive, he's getting an additional attack that's a high chance to be a super. And so it just, every time you do an additional super attack, or every time you do 3 or more super attacks, you get a guaranteed additional within your turn. So that's another thing. So it really does. It just, you're not steamrolls, but he snowballs really easily. And once you get him going, he's rolling. Using his team with the support that he gives makes it feel like you're running a 220% team on a 200% team. The only thing that's different is your health bar, which is, it's absolutely insane how good he is. And then that leaves one spot where, surprise, surprise, you knew who was coming in slot 1. He's just that guy. Like, literally, they made him, I would argue they made him too good. So I saw Kid Goku's kit, and I was like, okay, this is what we're looking forward to the rest of the year. You know, this is kind of what we're going to be dealing with. Makes sense. This is what they're going to be keeping the power creep with. Vegeta, I can pass off Vegeta because I feel like he's going to get a lot of support in that when Daima starts picking up. I feel like that's going to be one of those things where it's really going to push him to new heights as far as being super good. And so I was like, okay, they held back a little bit. I understand. And then this guy dropped, and he went absolutely insane. He's absolutely crazy. Like, this alone, this is ridiculous. And then they're like, yeah, we're going to drop this super busted unit. And then they dropped Cell right after that. And it was just like, oh. So who knows? I don't know what's the tone for the year is going to be so far. Which is super unfortunate. Because I'm curious. But right now, as things currently stand, he's the best TUR. Not counting Easy A's. And honestly, possibly even counting Easy A's, he might be the best TUR. Like, he's that good. As far as all the attacks he does, all the stacking he does. He gets dodge. Like, it's actually crazy. He gets dodge and guard. The dude's ridiculous. But anyways, that's that. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, I feel like these are the top, like these top 5 to 6 are like the solid picks. These last 4 you can kind of move around. I would say these last 3 are in like the same tier. And this Vegeta, there's a little bit of a gap. I think that's how I'd phrase that. So that's just how I see it. I feel like it's a pretty good tier list. I'm curious to know who you guys' top 3. Who y'all got for top 3 of your TUR list? I'm just curious to humor me a little bit here. I want to know what everyone feels like. But with that being said, I'm gonna go and get out of here. So peace out, y'all. Have a good day, and stay safe, y'all.